Hey y'all, I'm going to show you how I tanned this coyote tail. And it's the same process that I did these bobcats. They turned out beautiful. I've got all kinds of hides that I've done 6 or 8 years old in there that are just fine. Only difference is with the mixture I put on it, you'll see in the video, is I also mixed in egg yolks with this one. Had some questions about will it stink if you use egg yolks. Yes, if you get too much egg white. The egg white's what stinks. The egg yolk kind of, with the you'll see the other ingredients in the video, kind of simulates the same properties as brain tanning. But what you do is when you work that hide, you work it all back off of it. You got to work every last bit of it. If you get any egg whites on there, it's going to stink. So you got to be really careful. Use fresh eggs, get just yolks, stay away from the whites. This one, I didn't use egg yolks, so if you don't want to use egg yolks, here's another way to do it. Alright, what we got here is a coyote tail. This coyote was rubbed so his fur wasn't no good, and I'm not going to try to sell a coyote for $3 or whatever because it's damaged. So I took a bunch of pins and stretched it out on board and let it dry with some borax on it. I knocked the borax off the next day and put some more borax on it. I knocked that off after 2 days, and then I just let her dry. And of course the coyotes are real puffy, so the fur's wanting to curl back up now that I took it off there. It actually pulled a couple pins there while it was drying, but got me a piece of copper pipe here, freshly cut off with a pipe cutter. And you never can get things fleshed out correctly, because when they dry, you scrape them again and you can see there's still grease coming out of that tail. So I'm going to scrape it for a little bit and then I'll show you what we do next. Alright, didn't worry about down in here too much because there's not as much fat. You can see the shiny fat on this part. We've got some soapy water down in here. It's just been sitting out in the sun, 78 degrees right now. This thing's been drying since December and this is March. So you don't have to worry too much, just keep the fat off of it. You don't want it to mold. We're going to put him down in there. I'm going to find something to weight that down so it don't float. And let her sit for a few hours. Here we are, we took it out of our dish soap and water. It was in there, I don't know, 2-3 hours. And it got flexible because we broke that membrane, if you remember, with this pipe. And we're going to do it again. And I'm going to do a lot better job of it this time because it's softer. And I'm going to get into them edges. And we're going to pull off little stringy bits. And got my knife here in case we need it, and I'll get back to you, show you what we do next. Alright, now we've got 2.5 cups of alum to about 4 gallons of water. I've got like 4.5 pounds of salt in there. I use cheap stock salt from the store. It's called Mix and Fine. We've got her all scraped. And I did make one little slip with my knife right there. We're going to have to be careful with that. But now she goes in the salt. Weight her down. I'll get back to you. Okay, if you can hear me over this wind, that's terrible today. Just got back to musky fishing a little bit. I've been in the salt solution for 24 hours. It's starting to get a little stretchy. And that is such a heavy salt solution, now we need to wash it. I'm going to squeeze all the water out of it. I'm going to snap it dry a little bit, and then I'm going to wash it in soap and water, and then I'm going to rinse it until the water comes out clear, so we get rid of this, hopefully all the salt, but we won't. I'll get back to you. Alright, you can see how white that is. Nice and flexible. What I'm going to do with this one, because it won't all dry out at the same, is I'm going to fold it like that. I'm gonna hang it up somewhere and let the fur dry. When this part right here gets just tacky and starts to dry, then we're gonna add our solution. I'll be right back. Alright, fur's all nice and dry. This is where it's tacky. It's only been a couple hours and it's starting to turn a little bit dark up here, so it is time before it starts turning completely dark. It's awful windy out here, so I put my fishing weight in there to keep that from blowing away. I'm gonna take NEETSFOOT oil, 100% NEETSFOOT oil. Now, too much of that can go a long way. That might be too much, I don't know. It's not going to take much to do this thing, but got Murphy's oil soap. That is not a full cap full of either one. What we're going to do is stir this up with a Q-tip. Murphy's oil soap will actually help oil and water mix. So I'm going to put a little bit of lukewarm water in there with that, and then I'm going to paint it all over this tail, and I'm going to fold it back up and leave her set, I don't know, several hours. Keep watching it. As it starts to dry out like this, I'm going to break it. That means rubbing it on a stick. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, I accidentally put a little too much water in there, but that's okay. That NEETSFOOT oil goes a long ways. And since I did that, I usually put egg yolks in it. It's just the tail, I'm not going to worry about it. That's why I used more NEETSFOOT oil than usual. We're going to rub that into this whole thing. Yes, you're rehydrating it a little bit, but it's already wet. And as it starts to dry, we're going to stretch it over a stick I've already drove in the ground. This is how I just finished Keith's bobcat. And it works real well. We'll show you the breaking here in just a minute. Okay. First thing I'm doing is I got me some dental floss while this is still fairly wet. Sorry about the wind. And I'm stitching up that place where I messed up with my knife, just so we don't tear that any further. And after I get done stitching that all up, you can see where it's starting to dry right there. And I'm doing this backwards so you can see, hopefully. See it trying to change weight. And we're gonna rub it like this and just keep working it for a little bit. I'm gonna work the whole thing, then I'm gonna let it dry for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna work the whole thing again. I'm gonna keep doing that until it's completely dry. See how we're rolling some more of that membrane up off of there? She's already feeling better right there. Get back to you in a second. Right there's where we sewed him. You can see the dental floss sticking up right there. I worked it once. I've let it sit and dry a little bit, and you can see the color change. See the color change? See how that's a wanting to turn white? Right there. Right there. Right there. I'm doing this backwards so you can see it. See that? So I'm just taking it like this, going over the whole thing, both edges of it. I'm even taking it and going like this a little bit. When I get done each time, I'm taking a soft dog brush and brushing it out like this so it'll lay out flat, and bring hanging it over here and working it every time I need to. I'm going to do that till it's dry. We'll have a finished product next time I see you. There you go, y'all. That's how I did this one. It's been done for about a month now, and it is just fluffy and soft. You can see my dental floss, I don't know if you can see that or not, it held up through the whole tanning process. Never tore, never come undone. I did pick up a little bit of color off of that stick. That was a pear tree. I've never used pear before. I usually use hickory. I round it off real good, make sure there's no sharp edges. There's not going to be a splinter come up through it when you're doing this. You can use clean rounded off rebar. I do that too. Just be careful. And if you tear it like I did this one, sew it up. Nobody will know the difference. If you don't want it like this part down here naturally closes. Take your dog brush and mix them hairs together, and that'll start to close up naturally. I like to leave it flat to hang it up on the wall. Don't sew it. If you sew it, just put you a stitch right there at the top. Look at it. Put you a stitch right there. Look at it. Should be fine after those 2 stitches, maybe 3, and it'll lose a little bit of its floppiness, especially up here if you don't get it thin enough. I like them like this so I can hang them on the wall, sew it on a hat, whatever. Thank you for coming to Al's Outdoors. We love you. Always share your fire.